This is Carl from National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through your 2018 Aerolite model 2423BH. Okay, so here I am on the door side of the trailer walking towards the rear. Alright, so we have obviously two entry doors. This one goes right to the bathroom, which is great if you got kids around especially. You have a leveling system by Lippert that will automatically level your trailer. I'll show you that controls when we get around to the off-door side front compartment. Okay, so just while we're standing here, I'll touch on this. This is a black tank flush here. It's although the rest of the controls are on the other side, you can bring your hose from the dump station around to here and flush your black tank out. I'll explain that when I get around to the other side. This is the service panel for your refrigerator. You have a TV bracket with antenna out and power. Of course, this is the vent for your range hood. Keep in mind that if you're going to use the range hood fan, you can reach up here and this will flap freely. This baffle in here, otherwise you keep it shut like that. But if you're going to vent to the outside, you want to make sure that that's open and flapping freely. You have a power awning with LED strip. You got outside speakers. All right, this is your water heater. This particular water heater, the switches to control it are inside. I just want to show you that this is the drain plug right here. Okay, this is the pressure release valve. Never release the pressure when there's hot water in here because you'll scald yourself. But if you need to take the plug out, you always need to release the pressure. Just make sure it's always cool before you do that. You don't want to hurt yourself. All right. Now, also on this side, 9 times out of 10, you're going to use city water to supply water to your trailer. But if you go to a campground that doesn't have plumbing on the campsite, it just has either a fill station when you first get in, or you have to fill elsewhere depending on how rustic you're camping. But you can fill this onboard freshwater tank and then use your pump to operate it. I'll explain that to you when we get inside about the pump. But you can also use this if you don't have city water, so all the plumbing will still work like normal. Also, I want to mention about the water heater. Never use it on gas or electric. Never light it or turn on the power to it unless there's water in the tank. You got to always make sure there's water in there. So you're going to hook up your city water hose, and then you'll turn on like at the kitchen sink, for example, you turn on the hot water, and if the tank's empty, it'll just be blowing air out. As it fills, it'll be a mixture of air and water. Once you get solid stream of water coming out of the hot water side, you know it's full. All right. Okay. This is just this is a solar charger port. If you wanted to purchase a solar battery charger, this is a Furion type here. You would just plug it right in here. It does nothing but charges the battery. All right. This is your hitch. We'll explain the hitch when you come here to pick it up. But basically, you're just going to we'll set it up for you, and you'll follow our directions. If you have to refer back, if you can't remember or you're not familiar with it and you get stumped, you can always go to Husky Centerline's website and look at their hookup video too to refresh your memory. Also, this crank right here that you see, that's a 3/4 inch crank. That will work on if you had old style stabilizers, it would work on there, but that will also work for the power tongue jack. If you happen to have a power failure, it dies on you, you can crank it manually. That is just your dump hose right there. So, and this, just so you know, this is your touchpad controller here. This is the control box that you've got a touchpad monitor panel, and that's what that is there, just so you know. Okay. All right, fine. So you got 2 tanks, obviously. Deep cycle marine battery. That is a kill switch for the battery. You always want the battery on unless you're putting it into storage for long term. All other times you want it, if you're pulling it with your tow vehicle's pulling it, then the charge line of your tow vehicle will charge the battery, so you want it connected. When you're plugged in at the campground, your power converter is going to be charging the battery, so always leave it on, except when you put it in long-term storage. Your power tongue jack has a cap up here, a little rubber plug, I guess you would call it. That's a better description. But you can pull this off and use that crank I showed you, the 3/4 inch crank, and you can actually crank this manually if you had to get yourself out of trouble. Alright, so over here, this is where the controller for your leveling system is. Now you really have to read up about this yourself. I can give you the basic idea here, but these are the directions here, okay? Basically, you're going to turn it on. Right now it shows you the voltage, so it's 13.6 volts, which is what you want. The reason it does that because it doesn't like low voltage. So if you have low voltage in your battery, it's going to fault. It's going to tell you it doesn't have the voltage to operate. So that's why they list it on here. They read it out on here so you can always tell what you have. All right. But generally speaking, you're just going to push auto level, and it'll level for you. If you want to manually use it, you can scroll through here. Auto hitch height. Push enter to begin. So you push that, and it'll basically put the trailer back to the hitch height it was the last time it was disconnected from the tow vehicle. So it should fit your tow vehicle if you're on relatively flat ground anyway. You might have to tweak it a little bit, but that's what that is. You can also do manually here. You can see each one you can operate manually. You can retract by using this button, okay? But auto level is generally where it's at, so you're just going to push that. Like I said, you can always refer back to this directions to understand it a little better if you're not familiar with it. Okay, see what we got down here. Obviously your slide room is out. And we have, okay, dump valves. So, basically, that is your black dump valve and that is your gray. Your black dump valve is for the black tank, which is which is toilet water and waste. The gray valve is sink and shower water. So you'll pull the gray valve first. Obviously you hook your hose on here, it goes in the dump station. You'll pull the black valve first because it's toilet water and waste. It's the dirtiest of the tanks. Then you would pull, after that dumps, you'll pull the gray water tank second, just because it's cleaner water than the black water, and it'll just help to clean out your hose. So now on the other side, I told you there was that hookup for your black tank flush. So you want to leave the black tank valve open before you turn on the water to the black tank flush. It'll say right on that sticker there on the other side. Always leave that valve open, and you'll turn it on and it'll spray out the inside of your tank and get it nice and clean off your sensors. So it's a thing you should really do if at all possible each time. This is your city water hookup here. I told you how you could fill your onboard fresh water on the other side of the trailer. Okay. This is a shower slash sprayer. You can spray down kids and dogs and feet and grandkids and bicycles, anything you need to hose down. This is coax through to the inside of the trailer. And of course this is your plug here, your cord. 30 foot long, 30 amp. Alright, so we come around to the rear. You've got an escape door, or sometimes called a bike door. Now if you there's a switch up at the control panel. You can raise your beds all the way up, so you can still store bikes back here, whatever you want. So these beds come up out of the way, which is a great thing. I'll show you that when we get inside. This housing tells us this is pre-wired for a backup camera. So if you want to get a backup camera, it takes a Furrion camera that fits in that housing. We sell them here, or you can purchase it elsewhere. Just make sure you get the camera that's made by Furrion and fits in that housing. Also, while we're looking up, you have to inspect your roof at least 3 times a season. Once in the summer or the spring, once in the fall, and once in the middle of the summer. So keep in mind you want to go up there, or have somebody go up there and look around and make sure all your seals are good and tight, no separation starting. Sometime, some year, you're going to see that, and when you do, you got to get it taken care of, okay? You have to inspect the roof. So this is your control panel. It's going to be 4 zeros to unlock it. Okay, so your black tank, gray tank, security lights, living area lights, awning lights, your Dinette Slide, right? So you go through everything there. So we'll go back a page here. Go back one more. So these are your tank levels. I still haven't dumped the fresh water tank yet, but the black and the gray are dumped. So you can see that this is 2/3 full. Obviously, it won't be when you pick it up. To turn your water pump on here, your water heater, you can light it on gas or electric or both. Okay. Let's see, so I got to go back one here. Let me go to the pages. Okay. Alrighty. Back to home. Okay, so let's see if I can get to scroll here. Okay, there we go. Dinette Slide in and out. So you can see that. Your awning in and out. So you can basically, when you send your awning out, it rolls out 8 feet. You can tell it's all the way out when you can see the awning tube. Never leave it out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in, because it can get damaged in an instant by the weather, wind and weather, if you don't keep it in when you're not there. So make sure you roll it in when you're not using it. The Dinette Slide is just in and out. It'll stop when it's all the way in or all the way out. All right. And this is your switch for your bunks in the back. I'm going to push up just so you can see it. It'll go all the way up and then take the other one up when it hits it. And you can just use the space, obviously, to store bikes or whatever you need underneath there. So it's a neat thing. It can reclaim space that you can use the space customized for what you need it for, so it's a great thing. You don't have to, they're not fixed into place, so you're not just stuck with bunks or stuck with storage. You can have either or. All right, so you have a sound bar and a disc player and radio here. It plays DVDs and CDs, of course. It has an HDMI in it. You would patch that from the back if you need to. If you pull these end caps off, if you're the type of person who needs to repatch it, you'll see there's a complete patch bay on the back with all kinds of options, so you can customize it if you need to customize it for a game machine or for rainy days or anything like that. Okay. Also, you can stream off this USB here, so take all your favorite albums with you on one stick. You can hook up wirelessly with Bluetooth and stream audio and video off your tablet or phone or whatever. So it does a lot for camping. This is of course is your TV. You recognize the TV anyway. It has a swing out bracket. This green light when you're using the antenna should always be on. You can shut it off, see, but it's the signal booster for the digital antenna, so you always want that on when you use an antenna. Okay, the table can drop down. You pull the legs out. You can set it on these cleats here and fill in the space with the cushions and turn it into a bed. All right. The microwave works like any other microwave. The range hood, light, and fan. Like I told you, you can open the baffle so it vents freely if you're going to use it. I don't know if we got the gas turned on, but I'll talk you through it if we don't. So here we go. So you're just going to go to light and turn this clockwise. You can see it lit. All right, so you do that for each burner, the 3 burners. Then with the oven, it's a little bit different. First of all, let me get an understanding of which one we've got here. Hold on. Okay, so this one you have to light with a grill lighter. You need something with a long neck on it. So what you'll do is you'll come to the awning knob here, you'll turn it to light, pilot light, push and hold it in, so you're going to depress it. Then you'll come down here and you'll spark the pilot light, which is on the bottom all the way to the back there. You can just barely see it there. You spark that with your lighter, and when it lights, you're still holding this in. You hold it in for another 10 seconds or so to heat it up, and then you go to operating temperature, and it'll cycle on and off, like ovens do, of course. But when you shut it off, your flame's going to go out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Your refrigerator is a Dometic gas absorption refrigerator. That means it'll work on 110 AC or LP gas. Right now you see it's on auto. I can switch it. It's on auto. That's just on and off right there. So auto means electric. The reason they call it auto is because it automatically searches for 110 AC. If it can't find it, it'll automatically switch over to gas. Or if you're gone during the day and adventuring somewhere and you have a power outage to the campground, you won't come home to spoiled food because it'll automatically switch over to gas and light it for you, so you don't ruin your food. So it's good to keep it on auto. If you want to dedicate it to pull it down the road and dedicate it to gas, you can do it that way. But that's generally where you're going to have it. The only other thing about this is the thermistor. The thermistor, this is just a clip here, but you see the wire going into the bottom? There's a cylinder on the end of it. That's called a thermistor. Basically, the higher you go with it, the cooler it is, the refrigerator gets. So you just want to go up as high as you can with it. It floats freely inside this clip, so you can pull the clip right off and it can fall out. You just stick it right back in. But like you see from the sticker there, the higher you go with it, the cooler the refrigerator is inside. That's how you set temperatures. That's a thermistor. Alright. You should always have this closed when you're traveling, or else it'll tend to want to break, so make sure you do that. Now this device here is the power converter. What this does is it converts 110 AC down to 12 volt DC, or over to 12 volt DC is the more correct way to put it. So you've got AC power on this side. You can see that it's got regular household type circuit breakers here, and they're all labeled. Then the power is converted over to 12 volt DC on this side. You see you've got 12 volt fuses here, and they're all labeled. If any of those fuses were to blow, they'll actually light up, and you can see them through this tinted plastic here, so you know that a fuse blew. Also, when you're plugged into shore power, this is a battery charger. So as long as you're plugged in, it's always going to sense what your battery needs up there and keep it charged. So that's important, obviously. This device over here is the carbon monoxide LP gas detector. It should always be green like that. Let me set it off for you so you can hear it. If I can find a button here. Wait a minute, where's it at? Aha. Let me get closer so I can see. My eyesight's failing me here. Okay, so it'll go through 2 self-tests, one for carbon monoxide, one for LP, and then back to green. Should always be green like that, okay? If it goes off, obviously you're going to take everybody outside. You're going to shut the gas off at the front and figure out what's going on. But like I said, if it's not green, get it serviced. Okay, so this sink and shower work like any other sink and shower. The thing to remember is there's a GFCI right here. All the plugs in the trailer are wired to this one, so if you're using a coffee pot outside and it pops or something like that, this is where you reset it. Okay, and the toilet, you can't use it dry, as in with no water, or without chemical. So there's no water hooked up now, so I'll just talk you through this. Your trailer's a little bit dirty here, you can see, but our cleaning person's coming in right after me, so we'll have it clean for you. Now, you have to have chemical and water in this to start using it. So when you get to the campground, you plug it in, you hook up the water, then you come in here and you put your chemical right in here, whichever brand you use. 1 dose of it. Then you'll step on your flush pedal here, and water will come swirling out, and the black tank is directly below. And you'll put about a gallon or 2 of water in. It doesn't have to be exact by any means. The bottom line is you just got to have some water in there and chemical to start using it. So anytime you're starting with a dry black tank, chemical and water is the first thing you do. Also, when you flush it, it'll default up to here. There'll just be a little bit of water in it. You can step on the pedal and you can turn on the water valve without opening the trap, and it'll fill up as high as you want to fill it before you use it. So you got to do that each time. But you can set the water level yourself. Okay. Last thing is you always want to run the vent fan when you're using the shower, because you want to pull that humidity out. You don't want it to cause issues with mildew or mold or something like that. So last but not least, your escape window. You just push this all the way through. Obviously, then you would grab hold of this red tab and pull the screen out, and you can escape out that window that way in case of an emergency. Your antenna is right up there. It just rotates. You just spin it. It doesn't go up and down like it used to. Okay. And you have TV hookup here. There should be a sticker here saying there's a backing plate, but you can put a bracket right here. Right here, and you got hookups and power. And also, last but not least, again, as I say that again, for your thermostat, you just once to light it up, then you scroll through it. Auto is air conditioner, furnace, and off. So auto is just the air conditioner running without the compressor. Fan is the air conditioner running without the compressor. Then of course, cool is the air conditioner running, and heat is the furnace. Now, there's a lag time for that, so you're going to take at least 6 seconds or so before anything happens when you select something. So keep that in mind, that it doesn't happen instantly. You're just going to have to wait a few seconds till it kicks in or shuts down, for that matter. So I want to remind you, like I said, you have to inspect the roof at least 3 times a season. When you winterize this trailer, you have to bypass the water heater. So you have to educate yourself on that if you're going to do it yourself. You can't get antifreeze into the water heater tank because it leaves a really bad taste and a foul smell. So they give you a means to bypass it. So keep that in mind. Your default code is 4 zeros for your control panel. The back of your water heater is down here under the sink, just so you know. That's where you would find your bypass valves, okay? All right, well, thank you very much for purchasing your trailer at National RV Detroit. And if you have questions or issues, you give us a call and we'll take care of you. And make sure you do a lot of camping in it. That's important. Thank you.